Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are people's heads feeling? I'm very proud of you all for being here at 9 o'clock after the big party night. Hopefully some people who have made it out maybe a little bit later than the rest of us will trickle through as the rest of the panel goes on. So if you are here, there are snacks and things, so feel free to fortify yourself. I'm Hilary Gray. I'm an Associate Director at Propeller. We are powering the Empower Cafe. You will see many of my lovely colleagues here. Please thank them. They're all working very hard in the heat. But I'm also Head of Marketing at Bloom. Bloom is a network for women in the advertising, marketing, media, and PR industries. So anyone who being can. Do we have any Bloomers here today? Don't think we do. I think they're all out drinking.
They're going to trickle in.
That's what we're like. So I'm going to introduce you to the rest of my panel, and then we'll do a little bit of an intro to the panel, and we'll get going. So first off, we have Nafisa. Nafisa is the president of Bloom this year, and she's also head of membership and engagement at the Conscious Advertising Network. She's a mentor, inclusion advocate, community builder, and she creates safe spaces where people can feel seen and celebrated. Then next, we have Yolande.
Good morning.
Yolande has over 25 years experience in the industry from both brand and agency side. She's an active mentor and proud to be representing MIFA on this panel. Next up, we have Amira. Amira is an account director at Fleischmann Helled, and she's chair of the Alumni Advisory Board at the Taylor Bennett Foundation. The Taylor Bennett Foundation is a charity that helps diverse talent to get into the PR and communications industry. And finally,
Hello.
taking the bullet and sitting in the sun is everyone's hero, Jason Warner, MD, SBS. He's a passionate champion of the idea that that community should empower community. He's benefited from mentorship early in his career, and he is now still a mentee and also a mentor for MIFA. He's committed to opening doors and developing talent. And just along from him on the panel is his first mentor at MIFA, Yolande. Woo!
What a welcoming audience.
So, why mentoring? Mentorship is a core part of Bloom. Everyone who joins Bloom has to be a mentor. You're given someone who has less experience in the industry, you paired up with them, and you have a year to work together to help them through the industry. And mentorship is more important than ever. The world and the industry is changing rapidly. So mentorship, which provides advice, support, a different point of view, is absolutely invaluable. However, it's under threat. Ironically and painfully, due to exactly the same reasons why we really need mentorship, it's under pressure. People have less time. They're being expected to do more with less. The ability to give back within those constrained times is pressed. Companies that used to sponsor mentorship schemes are stopping. So what we're here to do today is discuss what mentorship brings, the great strengths it is, how mentorship can evolve to exist in the future. So I'd like to kick things off by asking each of my panelists a little bit about their own personal experience of mentorship, both as a mentor and as a mentee. We've already heard a little bit of Jason's story, but let's kick off with Nafisa.
Firstly, thank you, Hilary, and everyone else. Morning, everybody. I apologise in advance for froggy voice, and if it tails off, it is the morning after the night before. But no, in terms of mentoring has saved my squiggly career. I've only come across it maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. My career up till then was sort of climbing up the ladder, as it were, first wave, COVID mum, COVID, obviously COVID mum hit in, and got made redundant when my daughter was a month old. And I had never really been part of a community. I mean, I had friends, family, colleagues, etc. But I came across a LinkedIn post initially from She Says, Who's Your Mama, who do a mentoring course. And I thought, all right, let me lean into this. And I got paired with a fairly senior male figure in the industry. And since then, I caught the bug. And it was actually quite an emotional experience for me. I didn't think I'd feel quite wobbly, with this person's time, just sort of sharing my current experience, etc. How can I get back into the workplace? And I just found it so valuable that I wanted to give back to, and then I joined Bloom and became a mentor for the first time myself. And I have just continued since, and also mentoring through MIFA as well. And I just think it's just so powerful to, your life can change just from a conversation and, in a kind of psychologically safe space. And yeah, I'm just like addicted, really. It's just, I cannot advocate for it enough. Just spare the time. Yeah.
And Yolande, how about you? We've got one of your mentees here, but I'm sure there have been more.
Yes, so I think for me, as Hilary mentioned, I've been in the industry for quite a long time, and I'm not sure when I started out in the industry more than 25 years ago that mentoring was really labelled as such. So I don't feel in the beginning that I was actually mentored under that label, but naturally it was happening throughout my career. But for me, as a mentor, I kind of fell into it almost naturally. I've obviously come from brand side, but I've always also been a leader at Jellyfish. And with Jellyfish, we grew from 270 to 2,200 people. And naturally, my platform as a leader also grew. And the more I was speaking, in whether it was an all-hands meeting for my own team, or whether I was doing something more from a company point of view, people started coming to me afterwards just to say, would you be able to mentor me? So I almost started officially as a mentor before I actually was menteed myself, which is quite unusual. What I realize is, yes, time is such a precious commodity. And it's really, really hard as a leader to fit it in, whether you're a mentee or you're a mentor. But it can make such a big difference. And there are always ways that you can try and do it. And so I started informally mentoring, and then I formally started moving into structured programs. I've done co-mentoring, I've done speed mentoring, I've done one-off conversations. So I think if you really want to make a difference, there's a way that you can find the time to make it work for you. But totally acknowledge it's, time is our most precious commodity. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
So I've been both mentor and mentee. And when I was a mentor, I would say I was probably far too young to be mentoring anybody. I was fresh out of university. Yes. And I was still figuring out my own career journey. And I think the dynamic of that mentoring opportunity was this individual, their team worked in a particular way, and they wanted them to work in that way as well. And they wanted me to show them the ropes. And I think what she really needed was just a peer rather than a mentoring situation. So I feel like that dynamic wasn't quite right. But since then, I've been mentored many a times. And those relationships have been so helpful when they are structured and anchored in a really clear, this is why we're doing it and here's where we're going to get you to. And through a lot of those mentor relationships, some I don't have anymore, but some are like my friends and part of my network. So it's been so valuable.
Brilliant. And Jason, round us off.
So I'm Canadian and I lived in Montreal for 8.5 years, and I realized that my first mentor was my boss at the time. I feel like he felt like I was his kid. So he kind of, he'd scold me and do fun stuff, but at the end of the day, he really left me a better person than when I started with him. And so that's when I started to realize what mentorship looked like. Then I moved to London in 2014, and moving to a new country, I didn't really process how it all worked. So people in the office, this lady named Carla, she really kind of took care of me and really kind of took me under her wing. And I realized at that point that people were really kind of, investing their time and their spirit into me, which was amazing. And it really kind of made me feel comfort. Fast forward 10 years, I figured I need to start giving back. And so I did some volunteering. Then I also joined the MIFA program as a mentor and a mentee, because even in my position, I've never done it before. So I wanted to continue to learn. But also, Yolande, my first mentor, really helped me out in terms of the way that just realizing where I've come from to where I am now in terms of the business that I've created. Also looking at making sure that I pat myself on the back, that I keep on moving forward, and that I don't just always have a tunnel vision. And the way that I've been able to help my mentees, the way that they light up when we kind of just have an open flowing conversation, so important, because they're going to be our future leaders.
Cool. And Jason, staying with you, is there an example of something that you wouldn't have done if you hadn't been involved as either a mentor or a mentee?
I would have had a mental breakdown, probably. That's about it. It has been stressful times, and so I think I've mentioned to Yolande when we caught up recently, is in my position, there's very few people I can talk to in terms of completely opening up. I mean, I have my friends and my family who are basically my therapists right now. But, at times when things get tough or you're dealing with a tough situation, it's helped me be able to vent, but also get positive feedback on how to kind of attack that situation. And so that was invaluable for me, because I've taken that forward and I was able to breathe. I remember after a couple conversations, I was just like, and that was it. So that was amazing.
Brilliant. And Nafisa, what about you? Sorry. What would you have not done if it wasn't for mentorship?
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be Plume president. I wouldn't have taken various risks to grow through discomfort. I wouldn't have advocated for myself and put myself forward. I mean, I love cheerleading others. I never really see myself as an expert. It's not about me, it's about everyone else. But I wouldn't have thought to do that and actually lead the very community that effectively started my mentoring experience, because I started as a mentee with She Says, but my first time as a mentor was through Bloom, and it's just so nourishing to think that it's come full circle. Sometimes you just need to have someone ask you the questions that you don't really have the time to spend on yourself, to kind of, with regards to self-reflection. And that person, someone cheerleading you on, and accountability as well. You kind of feel like you look forward to your either monthly check-in or bi-weekly, etc. So it's just having that external person that isn't linked to your workplace, your family, just kind of looking at things through that third-party lens just really makes a difference. And it's nice to also then pay it forward and just see how your mentees are flourishing and thinking you're the one doing the work, really. So that's me.
Yeah. And Amira, when we spoke earlier, what Nafisa was saying about like having that mental space, you were talking about how mentoring has helped you kind of set some boundaries yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really, so working in PR, it's really easy to be a yes man, and that can be for your clients and your team. And all of a sudden, you can say yes to so many things and forget to prioritize yourself. And I think with mentoring, a combination with lots of other things that happened in my life as well, it taught me to just stop and stand still and have better segmentation within my life and think, okay, my job is going to do this for me. My friends are going to do this for me. My networks are going to do this for me. The other things I do outside of work are going to do this for me. And just accepting that was okay, that not everything that you do will give you everything that you want. And I think once I started having that worldview, that allowed me to just enjoy everything that was coming to me a little bit more.
Brilliant. And Yolande, we obviously have said many a time that you were Jason's first mentor at MIFA. What do you think makes a good mentoring relationship?
So from a mentor side, I think, well, actually from both, I think you've got to turn up and fully commit. That's the first thing. because you can't half engage in a mentoring program. The whole point about mentoring is it's about human connection, and human connection means you need to be fully present. So for me as a mentor, like if I'm committing to a 6-month program, you're going to get me for 6 months. And what I ask of my mentees, and Jason will attest to this, is that they fully show up as well. I mean, I'm taking the time to make sure that I'm trying to make a difference, but I expect them to do the same as well. So that's one thing. I think the other thing that's really, really important as well is to make sure that you get to know them. So one of the things that I like to do is my very first session with them is literally a get to know you session. So there's no mentoring as such, because I want to almost find out what their objectives are. What are they trying to get out of their mentoring specifically? Because otherwise it can carry on indefinitely, and it can turn into just an endless catch-up, which I've experienced myself. So for me, it's what do you want to get out of it? But in order to then understand how am I going to help with that objective, I want to get to know the person so I can see them in context to really try and fully understand it. And also to give them the chance to get to know me as well. So for me, it's really trying to understand the person holistically before just trying to understand their mentoring objectives.
Brilliant. Does anyone else?
Just to interject, it was about a year ago this week where we met and sat at the LBB beach and had that conversation, and it was getting to know. I was very intimidated, I'm not going to lie. I'm not anymore, but I was at that moment. And yeah, you did say you have to fully commit. Like, we have to make sure that we have two-way. So I made sure in my sessions, I'd always email her first, tell her what I want to cover, and have it structured so we're just not going into different tangents throughout the 6 months that we have together.
Yeah, because the big thing is, you want to feel like you're making a difference somehow. So we need to drive towards outcomes with mentoring rather than, actually the objective could be, I just want somebody to spar with. I hear people often talking about mentoring as teaching. I don't see it as teaching. I see it as a very reciprocal relationship. And I'm not sure enough people see it in the same way. So for me, I'm learning a lot about Jason, I was learning a lot about Jason when we were mentoring. But also it keeps me really grounded as a leader, just to know what conversations are, topical, and it sharpens my leadership skills as well. So I get a lot out of it, and hopefully you did too, Jason.
I did, and I came away a better person, a better leader, and a little bit more grounded in terms of what I brought to the table as well, because when you're focused on just pushing forward all the time, you do not look at your accomplishments, and it's just you're on to the next, you're on to the next, you're on to the next, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. So it was good to have that feedback, and great things happened during that 6 months, which I won't get into the details, but they were topical that we were talking about how to approach my founders and stuff like that, and how to get feedback on the things that I've been building throughout, and so that was super, super helpful. And just appreciating and patting yourself on the back.
Happy anniversary as well.
Thank you. It's been a special year.
We should have brought flowers. When I was speaking ahead of this panel to our co-heads of mentorship about what should we talk about, one of the things they brought up was in this year's intake forms for all of our mentees, the big theme that came through with almost 99% of them was a lack of confidence, wanting a mentor to help them build their confidence. And that has been it's been a perennial theme, but this year it has reached a crescendo. Is that something that resonates with all of you, something that you see from your mentees? And why do you think that is? And what can mentors do to help with that? Yolande?
So for me, I don't know that confidence is the word that lands specifically to me with mentoring, because for me, confidence is quite situational. Obviously, you can work on confidence and you can wing confidence. But the things, I do a lot of mentoring, and the things that I see more commonly is it's not a lack of confidence. It's just a lack of conviction and self-belief is what people come to me. And I think there's a slight nuance in the difference between confidence and self-belief. And, Jason mentioned it briefly. A lot of the time, it's people have tried, and they've tried to get around this problem, and they've been battered back, and they've been battered back, and they've been battered back. And when they come to me, it's like, I don't know what to do. Now, to me, that's not lack of confidence. That's resilience. And it's, from trying and not succeeding, and they're just looking for a sparring partner to show them a different way or share their experience on how they've tried to overcome something. And for me, why I say lack of self-belief, because they always, always come to me with things that they can't do. And, that's totally fair. You might be in that mental space at the time. But what I just ask them to do, and Jason will testify to this, is over a month, just start recording the things that people tell you that you're doing really, really well. And this isn't necessarily related to what we're specifically talking about at the time, but just record that. Because the amount of times you will then see that actually, if you got that recorded and written, and you read all of these notes of, oh, you know what, you really helped me with this, or you made a difference here. When you read that back, your self-conviction comes back. And it's just a really nice way, because everybody goes through, hard times. I do it. I've got my own little shout-outs list to remind me when I'm having a bad day. Actually, you know what? I can pick myself up, and I find it really works. So for me, it's not necessarily lack of confidence itself that I see in mentoring. It's more lack of self-belief.
Yeah,
and
totally.
conviction.
And I love that tip on the list. I used to do that. Should do it again. As well as being great for your own self-confidence, it's an absolute weapon to use in your appraisals. So everyone do that. Amira, when we were talking before the panel, you had a bit of a challenge to the idea of confidence as well. You want to expand on that?
I think women are always told that they're not confident enough. There's always something that we're not enough of. But I find a lot of mentoring relationships, especially young women that I work with, they will come, they're like, I just want to be more confident like you. And that always makes me feel a type of way, because I'm like, I'm not that confident. And I have to say to them, if you hear me sounding confident in a meeting, it's because, one, I've prepared, or I've been doing this for 5 years. So of course I sound more confident, whereas you've only been doing this for 1 year. And I think if you go into a mentoring relationship thinking, oh, now that I do this, I'm going to be more confident, then I think you've set yourself up wrong. There's so many things that come underneath confidence. Is it that you don't understand the topic area? Is it that maybe the role isn't quite right for you? Is there something that you don't understand? And I think once you start unpacking what that actually is, you can start to identify what confidence means for you and how that shows up every day.
Brilliant. All right, I got the 5 minutes to go signal about 2 minutes ago, so we're already getting towards wrapping up. So I'm going to go for my final question, which is, what do you want people to take away from this session? What do you want them to take back to London, New York, Paris, wherever you are, whether you're heading back to, unless you work in Cannes, which is nice for you, and implement themselves, talk to their companies about what do you want everyone to take away? So, Yolande first.
Okay, I'm going to be greedy because I've got two. The first thing is ask. A lot of people don't want to get into mentoring because they don't think that they've got anything to offer, and I can guarantee that you just need to have a conversation and you can see how you can make a difference. So if you're not already mentoring, and it doesn't have to be a senior to junior relationship, right? It could be the other way round. It could be co-mentoring. So there's lots of ways to get involved. So do try it if you can. The second thing, and this is really, really important, and I say this every time I speak on inclusivity, the challenge that we have is that the people that turn up are often the people who already care. And it's brilliant, and we're really grateful. So thank you again for all turning up. But what we really need to do is bring other people into the room, and so that they can learn also how they can make a difference. So if we all just bring one other person into the room, we are going to make a difference and elevate our industry. So that's my ask of you guys.
Jason.
I think for me, it's using your power for good. In terms of my story, I've moved across an ocean because of someone looking after me or giving me advice, and so being able to take your power, and really get into a room with someone and say, hey, I can help you, or build a community, whatever it may be, that you need to do. It might not even have to be official mentoring, but, you know, looking after the people around you and making sure that you share the knowledge and you pass on the torch to somebody else is really, really important. And so the way I am with my team is I want to make sure that they're better. They leave me better. Well, hopefully they don't leave me, but they leave me better than I found them. And part of that is, you know, they've gone through tough situations, so it's really just talking to them, making them feel safe, making them feel heard, and empowering them to do the best they possibly can is so, so important. So that's my ask of you guys.
Brilliant. And Amira?
Well, I would say, I'm sure most of you will know the job market is terrible right now, and that scares me for people entering any industry at the moment. And I think we all have a responsibility to help everyone coming through whatever door they choose. And I think where you've had the privilege of learning pre-AI, pre-COVID, and you've had so much experience, it's really important to pass that knowledge down because they just don't have the same opportunities. And while some people might not be saying it out loud, I think there are a lot of people out there that want mentors and need guidance and need support, and we have a responsibility to help our next generation.
Brilliant. Very true. And Nafisa, to close us out.
Well, echoing what everyone has said, but with mentoring, it's such a huge investment in learning and development. We are literally nurturing future leaders, ourselves, you know, anyone that's pivoting, and whether you're an organisation that can sponsor various community groups, because it seems like, you know, various community groups are leading mentoring schemes, such as Bloom, MIFA, Taylor Bennett Foundation, we've got advertising here today, and others, either sponsor to help fund these voluntary organisations, or put your colleagues forward to join and be a mentor or a mentee to ensure that they are receiving this kind of, you know, such a valuable experience from other senior leaders in the industry. And with that as well comes, you know, leaning into this community. You're broadening their network. They're feeling safe and empowered, and who knows how that can help your organisation as well in terms of the connections that they make. And a lot of these communities are linked through personal characteristics such as age, gender, race, etc. And especially for those, and I've speak from my own personal experience, if you feel like you might be the only one that either looks a certain way in an organisation, there's something so valuable about having a community of leaders with that kind of said, unsaid. You've got your work experience and your lived experience, and you just feel empowered and not confident, self-assured. You can kind of proceed with that self-advocacy and then be a role model to the generations after as well. So I cannot recommend it enough. Spare the time, whether it's an hour, month, 6 months, and we're here should you want advice on how you can get involved as well.
All right. Thank you very much to all of our panelists. Thank you to our audience for coming along. I hope everyone has an excellent last day. Drink lots of water, put a hat on. We'll make it through. Thanks very much.